What's up everyone, this is Francis over here from Nintendo and PlayerEssence.com. I first want to say sorry for the background noise you hear. It's my fan. It's loud. It's kind of hot in here, so I have to have the fan on. But to get to the topic at hand, if you don't think that there's some type of bias, at least slightly, with some of these third-party companies and Nintendo, I think this story that I'm about to talk about and this revelation that I'm about to talk about is definitely telling. Nintendo fans over the years have always purchased Resident Evil games. Whether they're spin-offs or whether they're the main series, every single game usually sells pretty well on Nintendo systems, whether it be the portables or whether it be the home consoles. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles, Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles, Resident Evil 4 the Wii Edition, all of them did really well, over 1 million units, or near that. Now, moving on to Resident Evil Revelations. Resident Evil Revelations initially launched on the Nintendo 3DS, okay? This game at this point has sold the most. It also launched on the PS3, Xbox 360, PC, and the Wii U. So I have both versions, and I got both versions brand new. I did wait a little bit on this one just because I had already purchased this one full price back when it came out. So Nintendo fans have been purchasing Resident Evil. Resident Evil Revelations, between these two copies, has sold pretty much 1 million units, especially if you want to count the digital side of things, where Resident Evil Revelations has been in the top eShop charts on both the Nintendo 3DS and on the Wii U system. So it comes to a shock to me that Capcom decides that Resident Evil Revelations is not worthy of being on a Nintendo system anymore. Resident Evil Revelations 2, that was just announced, was announced for the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Xbox One, PS4, and the PC. PS4, PS3? Okay, fine. The PS3 version of Resident Evil Revelations sold over 600,000 units, not including digital. PC version, don't know the sales of it, but I guess it did okay. Plus it's cheaper to put games on PC. No problem across those platforms. But the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, why is it coming to those systems? Why are those systems favored over Nintendo systems that have purchased more? Let's get to the sales breakdown here. This is all from VG charts, so it's not 100% accurate and it doesn't count digital. But still, we can get an idea of where the sales are. VG charts has Resident Evil Revelations on the Xbox 360 selling a shade under 200,000 units. On the Wii U, it has it selling a shade under 100,000 units. Not, of course, not counting digital. On the 3DS, it has the game selling around 800,000 units. Nintendo fans basically combined have sold around 1 million copies of Resident Evil Revelations between the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. Now some of you guys are saying, well, why are you combining two systems into one against the Xbox 360? Simple, install base. The Xbox 360 has an 80+ million install base, give or take a few Red Ring of Death Xbox 360s and multiple purchase users, against how many with the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U? Right around maybe 50 million. And especially at the time that Resident Evil Revelations was released on the Nintendo 3DS, the install base wasn't anywhere near what it was at this point right now. So you're telling me the Wii U and the 3DS can sell more copies of Resident Evil Revelations than the Xbox 360. Remember, these are supposed to be Xbox 360 fans. They buy all third-party games, right? No, they don't. Japanese third-party games sell like trash on the Xbox 360. Yet they continue to get game after game after game after game from these Japanese developers. The Wii U and the 3DS deserve Resident Evil Revelations 2. If you're going to cut a system, in my opinion, it should have been the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. One, because the Xbox 360 version didn't sell more than the Nintendo versions of the game. And two, the Wii U has a higher install base than the Xbox One at this point. And if you look at attach ratio, it's not even funny. Look at the Wii U's sales as far as Resident Evil Revelations goes compared to the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 should have sold well more than 200,000 units of Resident Evil Revelations. When a game on the Wii U sells around 200,000 units or 300,000 units, that's considered a big failure, therefore a game should not come to the system when it's third party. Assassin's Creed is one of those games. Yet, when a game sells less than that on the Xbox 360, they still get the next sequel. They still get the next game. And I don't really understand that. How come it's okay for third parties to just basically drop Nintendo when it comes to certain games and their sales, but when it happens to the Xbox, oh, that's okay. Xbox 360 gets the game, Xbox One gets the game. When it comes to Resident Evil Revelations, it doesn't make any sense to me. Another problem that I have with what I've been seeing, because I asked Capcom this on Twitter, and I had a bunch of people trying to answer for Capcom why this game wasn't coming to Nintendo platforms. Well, one of them said that, well, it's hard to develop for the Wii U and the 3DS. It's not going to make their profits back. Last time I checked, Resident Evil Revelations was made on MT Framework. Capcom themselves said that MT Framework is easily portable to the Wii U, and they've actually already done it with Resident Evil Revelations, so the engine's already up and running on the Wii U, and it wouldn't be difficult to port the game. Same goes for the Nintendo 3DS. It can do it. It's no problem. They've done it before. Look at Resident Evil Mercenaries. They took the Resident Evil 5 engine and ported it at the 3DS. Yeah, it took some extra optimization and everything, but they got it done. And it's already running on the 3DS as it is, and it's already running on the Wii U. I'm not for Capcom taking away games from Microsoft or taking away games from anybody, but at this point, you've got to believe that they're the puppet masters. Microsoft is definitely puppet mastering third parties. Even when bad sales come about, even when there's problems with development, even when nobody is buying the games on the Xbox brands, they still get more games. Microsoft gets so much Japanese support for a company that has no presence in Japan. They're no presence, yet they're still getting game after game after game. They get Metal Gear. Most Metal Gear games have sold like trash on the system. All the collections and all that stuff, so horrible for how huge the install base is. And now we come back to Resident Evil Revelations with Capcom. It's these type of deals, like the Tomb Raider deal, that makes me think that these third parties are just putting games on Microsoft systems in the hope and pray that Microsoft gives them money for stuff, or if they're not already giving them money. Of course, we all know Microsoft money hacks for stuff, like I said, the Tomb Raider deal. Now we're moving to Resident Evil Revelations. Capcom, I think, feels that they have to put games on Microsoft systems in order to get favor from the company. With Nintendo, you can screw them over all they want. They're never going to give you money unless it's an exclusive game anyway. So if you need to save money, just cut Nintendo platforms out. It doesn't matter. We can do business with them with Ace Attorney or with Monster Hunter. But with Western third parties, with Capcom, they have to support the Xbox brand. If they want that deal that Square Enix got, where you get all that money, millions of dollars for timed exclusives, exclusive DLC, you better support Microsoft or you're not going to get those deals. Do I know this for 100% certain? No. But at this point, you're looking at the sales of stuff and it's not lining up to what's actually happening. 1 million, around 1 million copies purchased on Nintendo systems versus 200,000. Yet, Xbox brand gets Resident Evil Revelations and Nintendo fans are left out in the cold. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me, and it's pretty clear that there's something going on behind the scenes. And it's not bad publisher to publisher relationship. Capcom and Nintendo have a fantastic relationship. Like I said, they have multiple games in conjunction with each other. You have Phoenix Wright versus Ace Attorney. You have the Ace Attorney series. You have Monster Hunter. They have a great relationship. They even had a Nintendo Minute where they visited the Capcom headquarters. You have Nintendo fans clamoring, even though Capcom isn't for sale, Nintendo fans, but you have tons of Nintendo fans clamoring for them to buy them. You have fans of Capcom games on the system, of the Resident Evil franchise, and they're just leaving them all on the dark just to save a few bucks because they know they can cut Nintendo out and they have to appease to the puppet master Microsoft. It is what it is, but at the same time, I feel that Capcom's just doing something really crappy. Capcom, get it together. Release Resident Evil Revelations 2 on the platforms where people want it on. The Xbox 360 Resident Evil Revelations sold like trash. Nintendo fans purchased easily 4 times the amount. Get it together and put out the game where it needs to be. You don't need to take it away from Microsoft's platforms, but at the same time, don't screw over your own fan base. It hasn't worked out for you guys before in the past, and it won't work out for you going forward in the future. Remember who pulled you guys out of the fire when you guys had around $150 million in the bank? Yeah, it was Nintendo with Monster Hunter 4. It's ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think about this whole Capcom and Nintendo and this Resident Evil Revelations 2 fiasco in the comment section below. Remember to be courteous and kind to people, as I'm implementing a zero tolerance. Any type of name calling or threatening or bullying or harassing, you'll automatically be deleted and banned from my channel here. So please be courteous and kind to everybody. Alright, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you check out the description below. There you'll find all of the resources and information where I got my information from. And make sure you check out playeressence.com for all your news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks. Subscribe if you're someone new. Like this video, it really helps us out on this channel and will help me provide more content for you guys. Thank you. You guys have a nice day. Peace.